What's up? It's been a minute since I've made a video. Today I kind of wanted to talk about my journey with quitting smoking weed. It's been about 60 days. Going over a little bit of how much I used to smoke. I used to smoke every day, all day from the moment I woke up. So like I would wake up around 6 o'clock. I would get up, eat, go to the bathroom, and then I'd start smoking. I'd go to the gym, and then get done at the gym, get ready for work, start smoking again, get to work, smoke on my car ride, or once I got to work. The whole time I was at work a 10 to 12 hour day. And then I'd smoke the whole time I was there, come home, smoke. And I've been smoking for the past few years. I started at 15 up until I was 19, quit for 4 years. And then I've been smoking for the last 2 years up until a little over 60 days ago. I definitely feel better at this point, but starting off, I didn't feel good. It was a lot easier than I expected it to be. However, it wasn't entirely easy. I fasted for the first little bit of me not smoking anymore. My sleep was so fucked up, and my dreams were really intense, and it was rough. It was pretty rough, I'll have to say. But the first few days, I really struggled to eat, so I fasted. I think I went a little bit close to 2 days or 48 hours without eating. I didn't want to eat, so I kind of used it as a way to also completely detox my body. But I was also going to the gym, trying to help sweat out the other toxins that I was trying to get rid of. I didn't really sleep all that much for the first little bit either. I struggled to fall asleep. I had a hard time staying asleep. The dreams were really intense when I was asleep, and it would make me wake up. That was a pretty frequent experience for the whole first week. And then into the second week, I started eating a bit more. Food started tasting better, honestly. I started tasting what food really tasted like, similar to what I experienced when I quit vaping, which I'm almost at a year without vaping, so that's cool too. But eventually, into the second week, I started feeling way more tired. The irony of me yawning is crazy, but I felt a lot more tired in the second week. I noticed I wasn't getting quality sleep at all. I was still trying to go to the gym, but at this point I started feeling a bit clearer as well. I also felt more clear in my thinking, and I quit my job that I was at, my salary job, so that I could have more free time to focus on myself, focus on what I wanted to do, like going to the gym, spending time with my significant other and my family, and kind of taking a step back after locking myself away pretty much for the last year with the job I had. I spent a lot of time. I didn't really have the time to sit and reflect on who I was and who I wanted to be and where I wanted to go. I felt like I was just cramming a lot of stuff in and hoping it sticked. With having that clarity, I have been going to the gym 5 or 6 times a week pretty consistently for the last 2 months now. That feels good. But the whole second week, I started eating more. I had low energy, and finally started sleeping a little bit better, but the dreams are still pretty intense. The third week, fourth week, and fifth week all pretty felt similar. I started really getting into like feeling low energy. I realized I wasn't sleeping as deeply as I needed to be. I felt like I wasn't getting quality like REM sleep. Every single night, I would wake up at like 1 in the morning, and then I would try to go to bed at like 10:30. I'd wake up at 1, and then I was up every 10 to 30 minutes. So like 1, 1:20, 1:30, 1:40, 2, 2:20, 2:30, 2:40, and so on, all the way up until like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I would still wake up and try to go to the gym. Not try to go to the gym, I would go to the gym. But I would come home and crash out and take like a 2 or 3 hour nap at like noon or 1 o'clock and sleep till 2 or 3, which is like a whole nother REM cycle or 2. But yeah, I just wasn't getting quality sleep. Excuse me. But I wasn't getting any quality sleep. And I was starting to like really question, wow, like I felt like I slept a lot better when I was smoking. Why is this so hard now? Why don't I have as much energy? I felt like I was supposed to be quitting, so I felt better. Felt like I had more energy, was more clear. And I started questioning that a bit more. But I kind of was just like, you gotta keep pushing through this. Like, you don't want to just like cave because you don't feel like the positive effects now. And around the 30-day mark, I also wanted to make a video about like 30 days without smoking, but I didn't, and I kind of regret it. But I've had a lot more free time and more clear thinking since I quit smoking. So that really helps. The 6th, 7th, and 8th week, which the 8th week is more about now, have felt a lot better. I'm starting to sleep a lot better. It's not perfect. I think I also have like sleep apnea. So like, I think that might be part of the problem. Maybe my whole issue the whole time wasn't related to smoking. But I sleep a lot better now. I sleep throughout the night, and I eat pretty regularly, pretty normally without smoking. I don't have like the munchies. I wake up, go to the gym at 6 or 7, and I'll come home after being at the gym for like an hour and a half or 2 hours. I'll eat a meal. I'll eat again like 2 or 3 hours later, eat again 2 or 3 hours later, eat dinner, and then like eat again after that, or have some snacks as an alternative, maybe make some smoothies. But overall, eating a lot more. My sleep is a lot better. I still have a couple of days where I want to take naps. I've been pushing my bedtime out a little bit, which I need to dial back in on. But I have to wake up at the same time still every day. And I feel a lot better. I would say quitting smoking was worth it. I feel closer to God in that way. I felt like a lot of the time when I was smoking, I had a hard time feeling like God wants me to quit smoking, and I felt like I was ignoring it for a while, and I started having like panic attacks that made me again think like, see, like God wants you to stop, and this isn't worth it. Why are you doing this to yourself? So I feel more on like God's path. I feel closer to God. I feel like more aware. I feel clear. If I don't do things, it's because I'm choosing not to do them, whether that's positively or negatively. But I just feel more in control and accountable for what I'm doing. At this point, I'm happy I quit smoking. I plan to continue to not smoke. I want to occasionally. It's definitely crossed my mind of wanting to. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I haven't had any desire to want to smoke, or thinking like, oh, like I could smoke this one time. I still have like, whatever amount of days without smoking. But I haven't. I feel pretty good about that. But I want to smoke again at some point in life when I feel like it's right and it feels like it's on God's timing. But overall, my consensus is I feel clear. I feel like I'm making better decisions about my eating. I'm eating a lot healthier foods. I'm going to the gym and bulking, and I'm up like 8 pounds or something like that. I've been more consistent with going to the gym, which was kind of an issue because I was exhausted after my previous job, or I was too tired from smoking. So I would say that's been my journey with it. I've had a couple of times where I felt like I was gonna have an anxiety attack. I had originally smoked because I felt, I want to say anxious, but I would smoke to help slow my brain down. And I also kind of hit the point where it felt like it's not what I wanted. I wanted my brain to like operate at full speed. I saw this one video, I think it was George Janko with, I think it's his name, George Janko, with Andrew Tate. And he said, my vice right now is smoking weed to like unwind and slow my brain down. And Andrew literally said, why would you want to slow your brain down? Like, you don't even know the thoughts you haven't had yet. And like that way that registered to me was like, what positive thoughts have I not had? Like $1 million ideas, or like something that would help change my life. Something like quitting my job was pretty impactful to my life, and that's made a big change. I went from working 6 days a week to 3 or 4 days, and so I've had a lot of time to sit and reflect and put more time into like who I want to be and who I am and the direction I want to take my life. So overall, the experience I've had with quitting weed has been pretty nice. But I think that's all I've got to say about my experience with quitting. But I would like to know what you guys experienced when you quit smoking, or if you guys want to quit smoking, tell me what's your reasoning for wanting to, or what's holding you back from quitting. And hopefully we can talk about it to make it more of a reality for you and being on that journey too. It's a pretty good journey to be on. I don't think anything bad about weed. I'm still completely in support of it. I don't think God hates weed either. I want to say that. There's a time and a place for everything, and if you want to change your life, things have to change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And so that was kind of a big push for me as well. But hopefully this can inspire somebody to also want to make a change in their life, whether it is smoking weed or quitting drinking or other drugs, or maybe you need to quit your job too and take that next step. I hope this can be an inspiration to anybody out there. But again, let me know in the comments your experience or what you want to quit doing, and I look forward to hearing back from anybody.